Hello and welcome to Breathwood. My name is David Yates, and it has been a long time since I've done a video. And I'm coming to you this time because it's time for a change. Ever since I learned how to play the didgeridoo in 2009, I have engaged off and on and off and on in discussions around appropriation and the use of a cultural instrument by people who are not Aboriginal. And I've gone back and forth, and to be honest, there have been times when I have considered not playing or teaching or earning money from the didgeridoo anymore. What I've since realized is that my approach to teaching benefits a lot of people and isn't necessarily something I should stop outright. At the same time, I don't want to continue to be yet another face of a dominant culture whose ancestors and even contemporaries continue the process of mass genocide of both Aboriginal and Indigenous people. So I figured the least I can do is to begin to be a voice for a more reciprocal relationship. So that starts with paying my respect, to acknowledge the origin of the instrument, and I do this at every live sound journey or performance. I always mention that I am not of the traditional people who play this instrument, that I owe gratitude to the people who first played it. That's the first step. The next step is to begin to be a voice for people whose voices perhaps aren't heard. And let me ask you this. How many Aboriginal voices are you hearing today? I'm certainly not hearing many. I now have one Aboriginal person in my Instagram network, and I see his posts sometimes. So my goal is to somehow access and share more of those voices and to put a percentage of what I earn as a white North American person with European descent, what I earn from teaching and sharing didgeridoo, to send a portion of what I earn to a cause that will support the rights and freedoms of Aboriginal people in Australia. So my goal is to target people where didgeridoo comes from. So Arnhem Land is kind of the main area I have in mind. And right now I'm open to suggestions. I'm still looking for a place where the funds will really make a difference. And it's not like I have a lot to share. I live off of what I earn right now with quarantine, with COVID. And yet I want to share. I no longer feel okay with simply taking this instrument and earning from it. When perhaps there could be Aboriginals with as much privilege that I have, if they had the same privilege, they could be earning a living from teaching. But I'm the one with the privilege. I have access to technology, an audience, a strong grasp of English, a college education, lots of experience teaching. I have a lot of privileges in this realm that I benefit from and that help me offer my teaching skills to the world. So I plan to offer, for now, 10% of everything I earn from teaching and sharing didgeridoo. And this is new to me. I'm doing this a little bit spontaneously and off the cuff, so I don't know if it's something I will publicly share, what amount I give. It's simply that I am giving. If others want to join me in that process, that would be amazing. When I think about the Didgeridoo Learning Community group that I started on Facebook, which has now, how many, 4,000 plus members. if every person donated $1 to a cause, even once a year, we'd be sending $4,000 every year to a cause to support Aboriginal folks. And if we did that twice a year or 4 times a year, imagine the impact we could have. So I would love to see that happen in the future. But for now, the only change I can affect directly is my own. So earnings also include my meager ad revenue here on YouTube. They've sent me a tiny, tiny bit of ad revenue over the 10 years I've been doing this. It's almost nothing. You've got to get into the millions of views and ad hits and clicks for that to be significant income. This is like pocket change, but a percentage of that will also go toward an Aboriginal cause. So I know this is a can of worms. I know people have very different opinions about this topic. I know some folks think that this is an instrument that should simply be enjoyed and treated as an instrument like the guitar, and there are others who really want to see more respect and honor given and paid to the original people of this instrument. So that's the side I land on. Here in Vancouver, in British Columbia, I'm not sure about the rest of Canada, anytime we have a significant gathering, at the very least, we acknowledge the unceded territory that we are on. In other words, the non-surrender territory that we are on. Sometimes it feels like lip service, but at the very least, it reminds us that there were people before colonization took place, and they still exist. They're not some long forgotten character from, a cowboy western story where there were cowboys and Indians. Indigenous people still live in Canada, the US, and Australia. In many cases, in most cases, they've had to integrate with the modern way of life, but they are still Indigenous and they are still around. And it is worth sharing some of our privilege with them. So that's what I plan to do. I'll be back soon with some videos describing some of the latest things I've discovered while playing. And I owe my thanks to Gautier, and I don't actually know if I'm saying his name right, Gautier in France, who asked me a couple of very pointed, clear questions about how I circular breathe that got me thinking in a whole new way. All he had to do is ask a couple questions and I went off on a whole new trajectory. So I'll be sharing some of those discoveries soon. Until then, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. I'd love to ask you to comment respectfully. I'd love to know what you're working on and how your playing is going. I'd love to support you if you need any help. And I'd love to wish you happy playing. And I'll see you again sooner this time. Take care.